The red wave rolls on, sweeping over and across the Chinese mainland. And on November 1st, 1949, the dreams of the dragon have been fulfilled. All of mainland China has been overrun, and 1/4 of the world's population has been brought under absolute communist control.
In 1949, 2 years after the outset of the Cold War, the Chinese Communist Party took control of China. Following through on containment policy, the US quickly ended ties with China and also imposed a trade embargo. In the 1950s, the Korean War broke out, marking the first of many disagreements between China and the Soviet Union. China wanted to send full military support to North Korea, but the Soviet Union, in comparison, provided very little. This was a sign of an ideological split that would grow between China and the Soviet Union. China remained very confrontational towards imperialist capitalist countries like the US, while the Soviet Union, especially when Khrushchev took power, began attempting for a sort of coexistence. Additionally, Khrushchev's denouncement of Stalinist policies in the Soviet Union angered China, who saw it as a stray from their founding ideals. Disagreement widened between the two countries, resulting in an armed border war in 1969. With China contemptful of the Soviet Union, the stage for ping-pong diplomacy was set. The year is now 1971. Though China and the US had begun some inconsequential talks a few years prior, ping-pong diplomacy met its start in a surprise. At the 1971 World Table Tennis Championship in Japan, Glenn Cowan, American ping-pong player, missed his team bus and boarded the Chinese bus instead. Most of the Chinese players were distrustful of the American, but Chinese player Zhang Zedong quickly stepped up and made friends with Cowan. He even presented Cowan a gift of decorated silk cloth. After getting off the bus, journalists quickly picked up on this news. Many saw the friendship between the players as just an unlikely, though heartwarming occurrence. Leader of the CCP, Mao Zedong, on the other hand, saw an opportunity. On April 6th, the US table tennis team received an invitation to play an exhibition match in China. It was a great surprise to everybody, including President Nixon, who had made it a goal to re-establish relations with China in pursuit of triangular diplomacy, a strategy to pressure the Soviets by becoming friendlier with China. The invitation was immediately accepted, and the travel of the American team to China approved. Having arrived in China, the US team was treated lavishly, being toured throughout the country as esteemed guests. Both ping-pong teams knew that they were undertaking a diplomatic task that seems to have eluded even both their national leaders. As a result, sportsmanship at the exhibition matches was emphasized to such a degree that the Chinese team, known as the world's best, often gave up some matches to their American counterparts as a show of sportsmanship. Less than 2 weeks later, on April 17th, the American team said their farewells and left for Hong Kong. The table tennis team's journey ended there, but another journey began with their departure. The interaction made a connection between the US and China, which would continue to grow. Nixon and Kissinger made visits to China, which was followed by official recognition of the People's Republic of China by the United States. Embargoes on China were lifted, continuing the rapprochement. Thanks in part to the reforms of Mao's successor, Deng Xiaoping, US-China trade ballooned, with China eventually entering the World Trade Organization. With ping-pong diplomacy being the spark for so many events in US-China relations, a topic that continues to influence foreign policies even today, it is intriguing to think, what may the world look like had Glenn Cowan been on time for his bus?
When I got home, I was a national celebrity, famouser even than Captain Kangaroo.